very special friend of mine to the front, 𝘍𝘰𝘳, and I would like her to just share something that's on her heart and just kick us off for this morning. We have been friends for a very long time, and we've gone through highs and lows in life, and they are very special to us, and it's an honor for me to be able to give her this platform this morning. So welcome.
Thank you, Ruben. Yes, I'm 𝘍𝘰𝘳 Smith. I am part of Side by Side, but I'm also the National Director of Special Olympics Namibia. And I also own a catering company where I employ young adults with intellectual disability. But I think most importantly, I am the mother of 𝘠𝘰𝘳. 𝘠𝘰𝘳, will you please get on your chair, then you wave to the people. Stand on your chair, that they can see you. Stand. Turn around, turn around. So that's my very handsome son. His name means handsome peacemaker. And little did we know before we had him that he will have Down syndrome. So I really just want to talk about God doesn't make mistakes. And that's I think the whole story with 𝘠𝘰 in our life. When I was pregnant with 𝘠𝘰, we had no clue that he will be born with Down syndrome. And even though we had a good doctor and we went to all the scans, there was no indication. So at birth, before I even saw him, the doctor shouted, "It's a Down, it's a Down." And in that moment, my world crashed. Mostly because I didn't know what this would mean. And I didn't know what to do with this news. And I remember looking at my husband and searching for some kind of hope in that moment. And he just took 𝘠𝘰 in his arms and he walked over to me and he said, "This is our son." And I think until today, I could say proudly, this is our son. So the first few weeks of 𝘠𝘰's life was really a whirlwind of emotions because I trusted God that he would heal 𝘠𝘰, that there would be no confirmed diagnosis and that our lives would just be normal. And I was still in hospital, and one night Ivan drove home and he fought with God. He was just in this dialogue and said, "Why us? Why does our child need to be different? And what did we do to deserve this?" And Ivan the next morning came to the hospital and he said, "You know, he just clearly heard God's voice saying that 𝘠𝘰 is my gift and he is perfect. Who are you to question what I made?" And in James 1:17 it says that every good thing given and every perfect gift is from above. And so is 𝘠𝘰. And I think that really changed our world. And usually when a baby is born, you say, "Oh, the baby is healthy and perfect." But what do you say when a child is sick or has a disability? And I know that in Psalm it's written that God created 𝘠𝘰 while he was still in my womb, and that he didn't make a mistake. So disability doesn't mean that you are lesser of a person or that you don't reflect God's handiwork. When 𝘠𝘰 was almost 2 years old, we went to Scotland and we were in a restaurant and there were 2 Muslim women and they kept on pointing to 𝘠𝘰. And later on they came over and they asked, could they hold him? And 𝘠𝘰, just being 𝘠𝘰, he wrapped his arms around their necks and he gave them the best cuddle ever. And after holding him for a while, they gave 𝘠𝘰 back to me and the 2 of them said, "This is love." So it's in moments like these that God showed himself most clearly through 𝘠𝘰. And 𝘠𝘰 have really taught us how to see God's love, patience and beauty in ways that we never ever imagined. Today I can say with full confidence that God has a plan and he placed 𝘠𝘰 in our lives with a purpose. if it hasn't been for Bo, I doubt that I would be very happy in my job. I doubt that my husband would be a coach at 𝘮𝑰𝘮 school. I doubt that I would have a wonderful community around me like I have today. And I know that from the start, God was there. So in John 9, when the disciples asked God, "Why is this man blind? Who sent him or his spirits?" Jesus replied and he said, "Neither. This happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him." So this morning I would just like to confirm through my life and through my own story with Bo that regardless of ability, every person is made in God's image and God has a plan. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, 𝘮𝘰𝘮𝘬. Very special. Very special. So friends, today is going to look a little bit different. You can see the chairs here and the pulpit here on the right. Dis nie omdat die salwing die kant meer is nie. It's just for the setup of the stage and being practical. So we're going to have a panel discussion this morning. And we're going to have people with a disability and people from our congregation asking one another questions so that we as a church can learn. We can learn what to do. We can learn what conversations to have, what questions to ask, what not to ask. And the important thing that we want to teach today is inclusion. Is inclusion and what inclusion means. And I want to share that with you this morning, friends. To understand that the word inclusion means the following. It says it's the action or state of including or of being included within a group or structure. And then it says it's the practice or policy of providing equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized, such as those who have physical or intellectual disabilities. And that is what we are speaking about today. About inclusion, what inclusion means and how inclusion looks. Now the sad thing, friends, and I want to say that up front, is that the enemy takes beautiful things and he changes it into ugly things. It's what he does. And as we speak today about inclusion, he's taken the word inclusion and he's turned it into a call sign for LGBT community. And that's not what it is. You see, I play paddle a lot. And I enjoy it. But I always play paddle in funky socks. SpongeBob and 10-pin bowlings and roses. And I've got nice socks, white socks with a nice rainbow on it. And the people know I'm a pastor there. Because I'm the only player at the paddle court that doesn't swear when I make a mistake. Maybe internally, but never externally. You see, we have to be real and honest, right? But I'm sitting there at the paddle court, friends, and this person comes to me and he says to me, "Oh, are you supporting LGBT now?" And I said, "Why?" He said, "No, you've got a rainbow sock on." I said, no, my friend, you misunderstand. I support a big God who made one of the most beautiful things in nature that we can look of, that came with a promise that said he will never destroy human nature again with a flood. That is what I support. So you see, friends, when we speak about inclusion today, we need to understand that we want to practice inclusion when it comes to people that have disabilities, mentally or physically. And we want to be able to see them. We want to be able to share stories with them. We want to be able to interact with them and love them. And be able to just share life together. Wouldn't that be beautiful? And that is why we're here today, friends, is to learn that and to have the opportunity to do that. So first up, I'm going to call Joyce to come and join me up front. And I'm sorry I'm stealing her from you. Joyce, how are you?
Fine.
Good to meet you. This is Joyce. And what a special woman this is. She does sign language for people. She teaches people how to read when they're blind using Braille. And she's got all that skills. And Joyce, I want you today to teach this whole church one sentence in sign language. And you can choose what that is. Whether it is Jesus loves you, whether it is please don't swear on the paddle court, whatever you want to use, you can teach us. Is that fine? Do you have a sentence in mind?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to hold the mic for you, and you're going to share with us how it looks, and then how we sign it. Okay, are you ready? So what is the sentence that you want to teach us?
I would like to do a song.
A song?
Just a short song.
Yo, that
Very
sounds
short.
awesome. Okay, and how does the song go?
Jesus loves me, yes I know.
Beautiful.
I
Okay,
think we all know this song.
we all know the song. And now you need to teach us how to sign it. Okay?
Yes.
So we're going to start with Jesus loves me, this I know.
Yes.
Alright, so if we say Jesus, how does that look? Everybody follow?
Move!
We're not swearing.
Okay,
Remember the nail that went through his hands?
sure. This is the sign for Jesus, who died on the cross. Jesus loves me.
To your heart,
To your heart,
squeeze it like Jesus loves you.
yes, Jesus loves me. This I know.
Yes, I know.
Yes, I know.
Yes,
Yes,
I know.
I know. Alright, slowly, can we go slowly together? Jesus loves me. Yes, I know. Let's try it one more time. Jesus loves me. Yes, I know. Awesome. Let's give a thank you so much. Joyce, that's amazing. Amazing. Awesome. Awesome. Great. You see, friends, inclusion is more than just being in the same room. It's about being valued, about being respected, it's about being given opportunity to participate fully. But inclusion can look different to all of us. And that is what this conversation is today. To learn what inclusion means and how it looks like from different perspectives. So with that being said, I would love to invite our panelists to the stage. If you're a panelist, please come and join us so that you can come and share with us your heart. So there will be 5 people, 5 without disabilities and 5 without disabilities. This is a safe place, friends. There's no wrong answers. We're here to have discussions and we're here to learn from one another. So this is important to know. By the end of this discussion, we hope that you leave with a better and deeper understanding of one another and that we can be able to practice inclusion and help people with disability to feel part of our lives respected and appreciated. Awesome. Pietro, can I please ask you to come and share the piece that you prepared for us, please? Is it reg, Ingo? Dr. Omo, you'll meet him now, he's got amazing sense for humor. He says his chair is only 2x4, it's not 4x4 yet. This is Pietro. Pietro, thank you so much for being here. You're more than welcome to do that. I've asked Pietro just to come and share something special which I think will give everybody beautiful context about why we're here today and to understand a bit more about our friends and family, okay? Let's just allow them to come and sit in here. There we go. Perfect. Right here. Thank you. Awesome. Ons 'n bietjie opskryf asseblief. Ons kan nou daar toe ook vas. Skryf julle so 'n bietjie op, kan you guys can move up, then we pop. Sit waar die so rol. Daar sy. There we go, that's better. Thank you so much. All right. Petra, you can grab that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Petra from the Autism Association. And if you want this afterwards, you can come and get my email address and I can share the address where you can get this and many more important information, much more important information. This is by 𝘍𝘰𝘳𝘠, an adult with autism who lives in Pretoria and Johannesburg. He's a teacher, but he's also a self-advocate and an advocate for autism generally in South Africa and in the world. And his mom and him and his wife, yes, he's married to an autistic woman, and they're having a great life adapted to one another and working out their issues or challenges together. Yesterday he posted on Facebook, and I thought it was very pertinent to today's proceedings. Today I want to educate everyone on understanding impairment, disability and reasonable accommodation. I am fully aware that we refer to identity first language, but too often people confuse impairment with disability. Let's clear it up in a way that empowers us all. Impairment. This refers to a physical, sensory, mental, or cognitive difference in the body or mind. For example, being autistic, blind, deaf, or having a mobility difference. Disability. This is not the impairment itself. Disability happens when society, systems, and environments create barriers that exclude or disadvantage people with impairments. In other words, disability is the result of an inaccessible world, not the person. That's why the social model of disability is so important. It reminds us that what disables people is not who they are, but how society responds. And this is where reasonable accommodation comes in. Reasonable accommodation means adjusting policies, environments, or practices so that every person can participate equally. Examples include provide lecture notes in accessible formats, allowing flexible work schedules, granting access for service dogs in public spaces. These are not special privileges, they are equalizers, the bridges that allow individuals with impairments to thrive and contribute fully. As I often remind people, inclusion is not about lowering standards, it's about removing barriers. When we understand the difference between impairment and disability, and when we embrace reasonable accommodation, we move closer to a world where diversity is not just accepted, but celebrated. Let's keep building that world together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. Appreciate that. Friends, we're going to allow our guests to introduce themselves, and our panelists. Just share your name with us, please, and where you're from. and then we're going to hop into the questions. So we'll start on this side here, and then we'll go through there. Just share with us who you are.
Good morning, once more. My name is 𝘍𝘰𝘳 𝘠𝘰𝘶. I'm from Special Olympics Namibia.
Hi, hello. My name is Carmen Ngolo. I'm an autism self-advocate, and I'm also a freelance creative marketer.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Marie. I'm a diamond polisher.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is 𝘍𝘰𝘳 and I'm from the Autism Namibia Association. And I'm also a board member and events planner and coordinator of the Wheelchair Association of Namibia, AMCU. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Natasha. I am representing my daughter 𝘬𝘰𝘵, which is at Side by Side, a CPU. And I'm from Windhoek.
And good morning. My name is 𝘠𝘰𝘳𝘢. The surname is very long. Just call me Omu, almost like the washing powder, but with a U at the end. Three words, but with a U at the end. Omu. I had been a teacher for a very long time, 30 years, teaching economics. This morning in the first session, I met a student of mine, a lady who was very excited. Oh, I'm a student in macroeconomics, in introduction to economics, introducing me to her husband, and that is what makes our hearts so happy. I live here in Windhoek. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is... Okay, I'm Helga, and I should get the back row. I'm really not important here. I'm just coordinating some stuff, and maybe if you allow me, I will do some answering. I work with people with disabilities for most of my time. For my
Career.
Yeah, of my life, probably. So just bear with me here right at the back. Can I go now? Good morning, everyone. My name is Anine Engel. I am wife to Pastor Ruben, and I am from Windhoek.
Morning, everyone. My name is 𝘗𝘢𝘁. I'm a math and science teacher at 𝘮𝑰𝘗𝑒 Academy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is 𝘍𝘰𝘳 𝘠𝘰𝘶, and I'm working in the HR field at a corporate company, and I'm married to one wife, 4 children, and 2.5 grandchildren.
Morning, everyone. My name is 𝘍𝘰𝘳, also married to one wife, with 2 lovely kids, part of CFC, and I work in a window dressing company.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sandra Kriel. I'm McKinnon's wife. I also work as a dentist, and I have a mom who's differently abled after she had a traumatic head injury about 7 years ago.
Thank you, everybody, for introducing yourselves. You're so welcome. Friends, how it's going to work is we've got questions that side of the panel will ask this side, and we'll allow them to answer, and we want to learn from that. And once they've finished, we're going to allow this side of the panel to ask them questions / us questions so that we can learn. Also, on a side note, Rory is a window dresser and his wife is a window shopper. But my lovey, kick us off so that we can learn something new.
Okay. We have sound. There we go. Thank you. What does inclusion look like to you in everyday life? And how can people around you help make it a reality?
Thank you for the question. I would say to make it a reality for all of us would be events like this. To have self-raising awareness about disability, what inclusion means to us. what inclusion means to you, and just educate the community and the society what it is to be persons with disabilities in our day-to-day life, and how you as the community can make a difference in our lives. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask the following question. Can you share a time when you felt truly included, and what stand out for you during that time?
Thank you for the question. I've had a lot of situations, I should say, but the one I would take is today. The reason I take today is since the moment this is my first time here, and since I've gotten here, the way everybody has been treating me, I haven't felt different. Nobody has jumped around, nobody has been staring, nobody has been like doing the, oh, can I help? Yeah, so with that, I really feel equal. Looking the way everybody looking at me, there was not a stare that I saw today. So that really made me feel included. And that's what stands out for me, that I'm at a church and the church treats me equal. Thank you.
Let me go for this answer. I'm also a shy person. Please understand. Inclusion means when the people comes us in, like, yeah, you know, not a lot of people comes us in. You know, a lot of people mock us now and then, but when home is home, Special Olympics it's like my house. Yes. I found some new friends there. They treat me like, you know, I was not treated like that before. Yes, it's up to me. Thank you very much.
All right. My question would be, in your day-to-day life, what is something people often misunderstand about your disability?
If I can answer that question. So I have autism, and I think on the daily I can say that it's not a condition that people are well educated about. Firstly, the first thing is a lot of people don't understand that it's a spectrum. So you can have people like me, and you can have people like my friend Michael, and we have a large variety of different traits, and you know, we all have our different personalities, and autism presents differently in different people, and there are different levels of support needs, where you can have someone who's a non-speaker and you can have someone who is a speaker. So it's a condition that I think still has a lot of ignorance around it. Yeah. I think that's...
Just to add on that, I've been sitting for 22 years in my wheelchair, and whenever I go to events or I'm at places where I have to wait, people always have the mindset of, she can wait, she's just sitting. But it doesn't matter that I'm sitting 22 years. Sitting this long, it also takes a lot on the body, because I get tired by just sitting in one position as well. It plays a lot, or it takes a lot on my spine to sit in this position. If most of you guys see me, look at me, I sit more to one side. That's because I have scoliosis. That's my spine is curved more to one side. That happens when you sit in a wheelchair and you don't have support. So when we sit and we do this, That's you trying to find the comfortability of just waiting. And the moment you do this and it becomes an often thing, it starts, your spine grows in a certain way. And people don't understand that just because I'm sitting for so many years, or just because I'm on a wheelchair, it doesn't always mean that it's okay for me to wait. Thank you.
Just to add on what Anna-Marie said, well, many people will look at me like she could relate. Like a few days ago, Anna-Marie and myself were in the mall, and we were doing some lady shopping. And then people looked at us funny, and I heard some comments say, "Oh, why can't she push herself so fast like the other one in front?" And I turned around and I looked at them, and I was wondering, wow. I would just like to educate you by saying, even though we are all wheelchair users today, sitting in front of you all, our disabilities are different. Yes, you can see the wheelchairs, but I was born with cerebral palsy, and the way my body functions is different from hers. My body can't take the cold, which means I get stiff. I lose my breath easily, so I need to catch my breath and be slow. Even the way our wheelchairs are designed are different, so it depends on the speed that you can control yourself. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. My question is, if you could change one thing in our society to make it more accessible for everyone, what would it be?
Thank you very much. Just as I have said, I have been a teacher for 30 years, so I won't be very long, but because always not very short. Yeah, no, it's all right. Let me start by thanking God, the Almighty, for giving us such a lovely day, and also Jesus Christ. Most of you were found on a level ground. Jesus got me out of a real slimy pit, and I'm very thankful for that. I thank the church leadership for inviting us here, Petra, Helga, Levine, people who had been our associates for a very long time, 𝘰𝘰𝘵, who is not here. Last but not least, my family. That is my immediate family and my extended family. They had been a pillar of support. Now, there is one thing that since this is an advocacy meeting also, that is, how are we called? When I was a student in Holland, when you get into the bus, you'll find a sign there that, you know, that normal sign, if I may call it that way, and there was the term invalide. You are invalid. I was then not, I didn't have a disability then, and I was always frowning upon that term. Now, sometimes you'll hear, and then it was persons living with disability. We are not living with disability as if it is your wife or husband. We are also not differently abled. The term now accepted by the United Nations is persons with disability. So when you write in your company policies, in newspapers, refer to us as persons with disability. Now, the question was straightforward, and it was one thing. This is one thing, but I'll put them 4 in 1. Now, one of the things, it'll be accessibility, and that is reasonable accommodation, which includes accessibility to buildings. As I have said in the morning, when you look at most of the ramps, because most of the buildings, the ramps were added as an afterthought, because there is basically a regulation, if I may say, or something that says you should have a ramp. And most of the ramps are like that one at most of the buildings. And not all of us are weightlifters. We cannot get us on and up those ramps. So please, as company bosses, as OMAS, that is the ministries and the agencies, please try to see how you could make it easier for us. The other one is home modification. When you get into vehicle accident, what MVA does is to basically build or modify the house for you, ramps, the bathroom, the kitchen and everything. But we who are under government doesn't consider that at all. They give you $1,600 and you go and do whatever you want to do with that, which hardly can buy you a braai pack. The other one is also differentiated grants for specific disabilities. Someone with cerebral palsy, as you have heard from my sister, and myself who is having a physical disability, we don't have the same needs and demands. So she will need an extra 25,000, I think we calculated it around 30,000 or so. I'll need, say, 15 or even 5,000. But both of us get only 1,600. Go and be happy. We are very happy for government that it is giving us 1,600 because most of the countries don't give them nothing. So the last one, I'm saying this because we are having here not only churchgoers. We are having here policymakers, parliamentarians, company bosses, medical aid bosses, and I'll conclude with the medical aid. When I tried by hook and crook for them to adjust my vehicle to a hand-driven one, to modify the vehicle, they say no. I have to quarrel them. They never came back to me. But I almost was at the point of behaving very unchristian. I told them, look, you want to confine us to a wheelchair. Driving a vehicle and being in a wheelchair is what? It's about mobility. It's about inclusion. It's about participation. But I have to be confined to a wheelchair. If I say I want to drive a vehicle, that is an insult to you. They never came back to me. So please, medical aid bosses, consider us for everything so that you can, as Petra have said, remove the barriers. Thank you, and thank you so much.
If I can just add a bit to that, I wanted to speak about dignity and the avenues that we will have to go through to perceive dignity and feel happy within ourselves. And I think that as disabled people, and inclusion, feeling included in society, being able to earn a salary and participate, whether that's politically, economically, in our churches and in our communities, that is a huge part of how we feel dignified and how you can go back home and feel happy about yourself, proud, and you know, not suffer from any mental health issues. So I think what we can do, specifically in workplaces, which I feel are a huge source of self-confidence and dignity within us, is to really advocate for inclusion. I'm always someone that says that there are realities about being inclusive. It doesn't always feel comfortable it doesn't always feel easy, and I think that when you don't understand someone, you don't understand where they're coming from or the particulars about their disability, it might take effort to fully include them. But I'd just like to really emphasize that inclusion is incredibly important, not only for the dignity of persons with disabilities. It's important for all of us, because when we do not include people, we lose out on valuable interactions, valuable people that can add to our communities, that can add to workplaces, that can really make a difference around us. So I think we owe it all to our fellow human beings, and we owe it to ourselves to really go and put in that effort, even if it is uncomfortable. Advocate in our workplaces, advocate in government, advocate in our churches to include people. Yeah.
Okay, so last question, I really want to make it a very practical one. So if we walk out of the service today and we're having coffee and we're having cupcakes, what is the way that we can interact with you? One thing that we can do that makes you feel you're welcome, that makes you feel you're not out of place and you're valued.
Most of the time, I do things alone. I don't always have family members or friends around me. So when I go to shops or when I go out in the public, people don't really greet. They would see the wheelchair, but they won't see me. And they would be greeting each other up there, but they never make effort to look down and say hi. So the word hi, how are you? It's the first thing that welcomes you. It's the fastest way that I will know I can ask help from this person. And it's also the one word that tells you you are welcome here. I don't know how many people are in this room, but from all the people in this room, there might only be one person that says hi to me. And then I will be sitting quiet there because I don't feel welcome. But if each and everyone says hi, you will hear me even in praise and worship singing the loudest because somebody asked, how are you? That's all you have to do. Just ask, how are you?
For me, this question hits deep, and it's what I went through. With I free deep things that brought value to my life, and those are the people amongst the people sitting here today in the audience. And the first would be 𝘰𝘰𝘳 𝘠𝘰𝘵, the director of Side by Side. She's not here today. She brought value into my life. When I first came to Side by Side as a volunteer, she looked at me once and she'd employed. She brought value in my life. She showed the world that disability is not an inability to do something. She brought purpose into my life. It's people like 𝘍𝘰𝘳 who also employed intellectual persons with disability in their company. In Special Olympics, to do sports, to show the community, the world outside, we are persons with disability, but it's not our inability that we can't do anything for ourselves. We can do sports. We have a right for education and so many others. People like, or companies like Urban Cafe Radio, that when I first started at Autism Namibia, I looked to the left and I saw a person there waving with a big smile, and I was like, please do not look at me. I was so nervous. But he approached me with a kind, genuine smile, and he introduced himself. And that is one of the moments I will never forget, because even weeks after, I remembered how he treated me and how him and his team always make the time when they go home to look around and wave. And that's how they brought value in my life, and that's how I know that I am included in my company, and so forth. And lastly, I also valued my mentor, 𝘰𝘰𝘵𝘦𝘳𝘴. Pieter and I goes a very long way since I was a child. And I didn't know then, but what I know now, I couldn't be more happy and prouder to be where I am, was it not for Petra. She lifted me up and she believed me even with my shortcomings. But, so I want to say thank you to all, and this is to each and every one that brought value in my life, and through them, I could stand here today and tell my story. Thank you.
Afternoon. It was actually Rochelle's own smile that made me remember her from when she was a child. And I always wondered what had happened to her, and will I ever see her again? Because she was intellectually not impaired, so she left our center to go into mainstream schooling. We lost contact until she started as a volunteer at Side by Side, and that smile was there on a Facebook photo, and thus we found ourselves again.
I don't have much to say, but I'm speaking on behalf of my 9-year-old daughter, which is CP, and she's at Side by Side. I just want to say out my gratitude to Side by Side. If it was not them, I could have been around you today. When I was told that my girl was 65% brain damage, I was asking too much questions. Why? How could it be me? Why? And it was so difficult. I didn't know how to start, where to start, because she was the first one in our family. And I took her to Central Hospital for speech therapy. When I was there, this lady of speech therapy asked me, do you know about Side by Side? I said, no, I haven't heard about it. And she said, it's a place here in Namibia. It's situated in Koreaga, Kingsley. And then she gave me the contact number, and I contacted Sandra, was that time the director of Side by Side, and then I made an appointment. The next day I went to them, and then I met Heidi there. But it was the time Sandra was supposed to leave, and she was so lucky. That time I think there were only 5 kids allowed at the school to stay, and we got interviewed, and we went 2 times a week. We went in for exercise and so on. And she was so lucky that she could be taken in by Side, and she could come in for whole week, 8 to 4. And I was wandering around there, oh, is she safe? Because I never left her on behalf of someone else. So I would like to say thank you to Side by Side. And it was very difficult to stay with her in the community, because they will point each other fingers and they will ask too many questions, but not you as the parent. They will not come straight forward to you, but they will ask themselves, they amongst them. And then you will sit there and wondering, why don't they come to me? Because I'm the one who knows how to handle always with this problem. So I would like to say, let us with disability be treated equally. We with disability, or parents with disability kids, we are not different. It's just that we are special. And since our kids cannot come speak for themselves today, I'm speaking on behalf of our kids. We are the eyes for our kids. We are the ears for our kids. So please, in the community, if you could just accept us with our differences and treat us equally. Thank you.
Yes, please. Just a very short one on how someone without disability, when they see, I'll call us, should react. My sister spoke about dignity. We want to be treated with dignity. Everyone, small kids up to, that is why corporal punishment or beating your kid at home is not a very good idea, because you don't want to be beaten, so a kid should also not be beaten. We are not there. But let me move on. There are two types of, as I said in the morning, of persons with disabilities. The veterans, us here, who had been exposed to some of these things. For us, we don't care much how you look at us or how you smile at us. But there are those ones who had either become recently disabled, if I may say so, or who had not been exposed to this kind of talk that we are just like anyone else. So the advice is that when you see someone, unless this person is stranded, maybe the ramp is too steep or so, just pass by us if you are passing by any normal person. Then you won't offend that person in any way if that person is not exposed to these kind of things that we are exposed to. The second and last one. I was in 𝘍𝘢𝘳𝘥 2 weeks ago, facilitating for the whole week a workshop. Now, the equity commissioner is the one who should make us as human as possible. Was talking about, year so and so we had only 200 persons with disabilities. Now the numbers are growing to something like 2,000 what? I said, thank you, Commissioner, I won't let this one go, because this is a serious advocacy question. And that is the way we define disabilities, or we know about disability. What we knew then, if you find us in wheelchairs like this, oh, that person is 𝘍𝘁, 𝘍𝘁, okay, fine. But there are many other disabilities, types of disabilities. I won't read them out, but just quickly here, as I was trying to remember some, I have 11 types of disabilities, from physical disability to albinism. So that is, most of those types were excluded. And when you go to the Ministry of Gender, now it is in Madam Vedbo's office, the Office of Disability, you'll find that those other disabilities like albinism, CP, autism, spectrum, etc., they find it very difficult to be registered as persons with disabilities. That is, please, as bosses again, as policymakers, as church leaders, remember that it is not only physical disability in a wheelchair. There are a whole lot. And UNICEF did many studies on disabilities, on extra cost, on government spending, etc. And please go on internet and you'll inform yourself. And I really, really thank you for listening to us. This is wonderful and prachtig.
I would like to ask you three ladies, Carmen, Anna-Marie, and Rochelle, if you can ask our panelists your 3 questions, and then I'm going to ask Helga just to summarize a few points for us. So if you three will ask them questions that we can learn by, I'd appreciate that very much. Thank you.
One thing I've learned is that everyone, there is something you are unable to do. Whether it's reaching the top shelf or whether it's running fast. So I want to know, when you think about inclusion, when you think about inclusion, what does it mean to you personally?
Thank you. To me, inclusion is about leveling the field of play to make it equal. So a lot of the times we might miss out on people with talents, but then we overlook them because, okay, it's going to be difficult to work with this person and whatnot, but, could be a great asset. You mentioned you're the second diamond polisher here. That's an incredible skill. And I'm sure that organization or the economy at large would have missed out without including you. So that is, to me, leveling out the playing field and making sure that there's equality.
My question would be, what barriers do you think exist in your church or community that stop full inclusion and participation from happening?
Thank you for your question. I think from my side, dealing with kids with neurodiversity, it's a thing of lack of information or just lack of knowledge or awareness. Many times, if there's just a lack of awareness, people assume. But when the kids are taught, like in our case, when we just make them aware that we're all different, we're all having our own different abilities, we make room for one another. Whether it's children that are on the spectrum, whether it's children with certain learning disabilities, the moment that we're aware and we just, and especially for kids, they are so easy to accept and make them part of the school and everything. So it's just that awareness and everything will be all right. Thank you.
I would just like to add on to what Gama said, and I think it's something that's been coming up throughout the day as we've been busy discussing things, is that there's a big difference between equal access and same access. Because same access isn't equal access. And for someone who doesn't have a disability, I wouldn't necessarily know how to make it equal access. And there's a lot of discussion that needs to take place between engineers, architects, policymakers, bosses, people who make decisions, be it big or small, to know what's needed. Because what my opinion is of what your needs are and what your needs are aren't the same. Yes, we're going to build a ramp, but is the ramp practical? We don't know. And I think that's a big thing of a very big barrier, is we don't have enough open conversation about what's needed so that we can level the playing field.
For the last question, I'd just like to ask, what do you need from persons with disabilities to make inclusion a priority and help everyone in your community belong?
Thank you, Carmen, for this question. I would say that we need more Carmens to show their creativity to us and to this community at large. We need more leadership, leaders like Umo and the rest of the panel sitting there, to come forth, to speak up, to tell their stories so that they can be heard, so that they can be accepted, and so that they can make a difference for themselves and for all the rest of people living with disabilities. And then lastly, I would like also to have them, to have their voices, need their voices to be heard, and also that they need to know that they can trust. They can trust us. They can trust us as a community. They can trust us in the workplace, in a church setup, to raise their voices and just to be themselves. Thank you.
I just wanted to reiterate that I think the willingness to be patient with us when we ask questions that might seem obvious to you, but because we want to learn and to know, I'm just thinking of us wanting to build a new building, instead of us coming up with ideas for ramps or accessibility, to actually include people like you in the process to make sure it is functional and yeah, that it works properly and not just the way we think it should work. So, yeah.
Hi, from the back. I want to just summarize maybe what I heard today, and I would like to give that to you to think about. So the first thing that I think was really important that I heard is that we speak about them and us. And it is a them and us, but it depends on how we see other people, how big the rift is between, whether it's far away, them and us, or whether we can get closer to each other. And I think an opportunity like today really helps us to bring us closer. And you might see that some of you would feel it's actually not them and us, it's just us. And that's probably where we want to get. But there are obviously differences. And I'm an occupational therapist, so I'll speak a little bit from my perspective as well. And I want to ask everybody here, where do you spend the most time in the day? At work. Why? Why are you spending so much time at work? There are bills to be paid. It gives you an identity. When we introduce ourselves, we say, what do we do? And most of you do most of the time work. And children? School. And those are the two places that people with disabilities are often excluded. So we need to look at that. So how can we make workplace and schools more inclusive? And our young man, Uri, said he feels most included when he does sport. So we need to also look at leisure. It's not okay to just work or to just learn. We also in our leisure time or in our social time need to include everybody. I think that's really important. So you from the church, I applaud to your effort to hear what people with disabilities find difficult. That's how we start a conversation, and that's how we can hopefully solve some of the barriers that are easy to overcome, more easy than we might think. And I want to close with that a willingness to understand one another is really the most important asset that we have. We spoke about accessibility. Attitude is the biggest barrier, because ramps can be built, but if the heart's not right and our attitude is not a positive one, nothing can bring us together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody on the panel. They so appreciate it. Please stay with us. We would like to invite every other guest that's here this morning with any disability. Would you please come and join us here in the front? We don't want to expose you. We want to honor you today, and we want to give you a gift. And we want to thank you for taking your time and for coming. And in the same breath, we would love to ask all family, all carers, side-by-side workers, Special Olympics, Autism Association, if you take care of these people, our friends, and you look after them and you help them, you take them to the bathroom, you push their chairs, you bathe them, You give them physical therapy. We would like you to come forward, please. And we want to honor you too. So please come and join us in the front. Yeah, please come, Joyce. Everybody that's involved. Friends, thank you for bearing with us today. I think as we've heard, today's discussion was so important, and I think as Anna-Marie shared, sometimes it's difficult for her to wait, and it's difficult to wait for a long time, and we think, wow, our service needs to end, we're going a bit over time, but I think it's an important lesson that we need to learn of what is important today. And I want to just finish off with this verse in 1 Corinthians 12. Paul shares this. He says, but in fact, God has placed the parts in the body, every one of them, just as He wanted them to be. If they were all one part, why would there be a body? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you. The head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. And the parts that we think are less honorable, we treat with special honor. And the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty. While our presentable parts need no special treatment, but God has put the body together, giving greater honor to the parts that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it, and if one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. And we want to say to all our guests standing here today, that you are part of God's body, and that you are part of family, that you are seen, that you are loved, that we want to try better as the community, as Helga said, to close that gap. It's amazing, friends, when we had that rain flood coming, how often we take bridges for granted. And 𝘬𝘯𝘓 drives every day so many people for work, and the flood rains come and the bridge breaks and the whole economy and city stands still because there is not a bridge for them to drive over. Can you remember that? Yes. Now, how amazing is it, as Helga says, can we as children of God become a bridge, even though it might look like a little insignificant piece of road that brings one side to the other side, so important. Can we as children of God, as the body of Christ, be that bridge for the people that need it? And that is what we want to learn today, is to say that we all body. And if one suffers, all suffers. And if one is honored, we all rejoice. So we want to honor you as guests this morning. And in the same breath, everybody here, julle wat hierdie kindertjies omsien, die tyd wat julle insit, die effort, the final, you guys do amazing jobs. And thank you that you give your time and effort and energy and resources and who you are to love these people and show them your hearts and show them the heart of Christ. It's amazing. Thank you that you are salt and light where no one dares to go sometimes. And we appreciate all of you. We gave you a small little gift, but we want to leave you today with a standing ovation. As a community, as a church, we want to stand up and we want to honor you as our guest, and we want to honor you as helpers and carers, and just thank God for who you are. You are loved, and you are welcome. Let's honor them, friends. The sound desk died on. I think our sound desk is off. It's also, he's also tired now. So friends, we've got a beautiful cupcake for everybody outside. So please, we encourage you, please join.